Before you start knee hooping, you should get changed into a pair of shorts or something that shows as much leg as possible. The hoop will grip easier to your skin than it will to clothes, and it makes it much easier when you're learning. There's two ways to get the hoop down to your knees. First, you can start waist hooping and just slow down so that the hoop drops down to knee level. Or you can start at your knees. So you want to be an inch or two above the bend of your knees. Take the hoop to the opposite direction to the way you want to hoop and give it a push, just like you would for waist hooping. The easiest way for beginners to hoop at the knees is to just bend and straighten both legs. So when the hoop comes to the back, you're going to straighten your legs. When the hoop comes to the front, you're going to bend them. So it's a lot like waist hooping when we did the Marilyn, where you're doing your hips backwards and forwards. Except because your knees are much smaller in diameter, it's going to be faster. It needs to be quite a snappy motion to keep the hoop on the knees and rotating. So take it across and give it a push, and then bounce your knees. Once you've got the hang of this, try doing it with just one leg at a time. So one leg's going to stay still and straight and be your support leg, and the other leg is going to bend and straighten exactly the same way. So when the hoop comes around the back, you straighten. As it comes around the front, you bend. The second method of knee hooping is the push-pull method. You use one leg as a support leg, and the other leg will guide the hoop. So if we're hooping to the left and we want our left leg to be a support leg, then our right leg, as the hoop comes around, is going to go out and across to guide the hoop round. When the hoop comes to the back, it's just going to straighten and then out and across. If you want to use your right leg as a support leg, it will stay straight, and your left leg will come in and go out. So as the hoop comes around your right leg, your left leg is going to come across and guide the hoop round and out. It's important to be able to do knee hooping with both legs independently. If you want to be able to walk with the hoop or turn with the hoop, you need to be able to use just one leg at a time to keep the hoop going. Okay, troubleshooting. If your hoop is going off plane, so instead of being nice and flat and on plane, it's starting to do this and the backside is hitting the ground, then you're probably lifting your knees too high. Because when you're knee hooping, the hoop, when it comes around the back, is always hitting the straight of your leg, so it's in this position. When it comes to the front, if you lift your knees too high, the hoop is going to start to angle downwards and possibly hit the floor. So just small movements. You don't need to lift your leg too high or bend your knees too much for it. Bruises. It is normal to get bruises. When I was knee hooping, I sent my friend a picture of the bruises on my knee because I wasn't sure if that was normal, and she said, yeah, that's normal. It's because you hoop to start with on the wrong part. So even though it's called knee hooping, you don't actually want to hoop on your knees. You want to be a bit above your knees. Otherwise your hoop is constantly hitting the bone in the front or this sharp piece on the back, and obviously that's going to leave you with bruises. So a few inches above the knees. Make sure your hoop is very grippy. I've seen people put a layer of grip tape on the inside of their hoop to make it easier when they're learning tricks like this. Clothes, like I said at the beginning, make sure you're not wearing loads of clothes or layers that are going to have your hoop slip off very easily. If your hoop is riding up, for most of you it'll be riding down, but if you find that as you're knee hooping your hoop keeps coming up, you're probably hooping too hard and knocking your hoop up like this. So it's nudging up, so try and not nudge it. Again, try not to lift your knee too high so that happens. If you still have problems, try a different size hoop, a different weight hoop, and have a lot of patience, because knee hooping is quite tricky, but once you get it, you can do it.